Alright, welcome back. We're going to pick up where we left off, continuing where we have some problems with variables on both sides that involve the distributive property. So our first step, if you recall, is simplifying both sides of the equation. Well, our left-hand side of the equation is already simplified. So I'm going to, for right now, just rewrite that 14 plus 3x. Now on the right-hand side, we have 8x minus 3 times the quantity x minus 4. So I'm going to start off by distributing that 3 to the x and to the minus 4. So that gives me 8x minus 3x plus 12. And the reason why it's a plus 12 is because you have to recall that this is going to end up being plus a negative 3. And so negative 3 times x gives us our negative 3x, and negative 3 times negative 4 gives us positive 12. The next thing that I see is that I have this 8x and this minus 3x. So I want to combine those. 8x minus 3x gives me 5x. So I have 5x plus 12 on the right, and still 14 plus 3x on the left. Now when I look at this, I say I could subtract 3x from both sides, or I could subtract 5x from both sides. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, which will allow me to have a positive variable term when I'm done. 3x's cancel, leaving me with 14 on the left. Minus 5x minus 3x is 2x plus 12 on the right. Now if I go back to planning my route, it's multiplying by 2, and then adding 12, which when I do my U-turn results in undoing by subtracting 12 and dividing by 2. So when I start by subtracting 12, I end up with getting 14 minus 12, which is 2 equal to 2x. Now I can then divide by 2 on both sides. Divide by 2, divide by 2, that cancels my 2's here. 2 divided by 2 is 1, equal to x. And if I check that really quickly, 3 times 1 is 3, 14 plus 3 is 17. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 minus a negative 9 is an 8 plus 9, which is 17. So yes, it does work out. Let's look at another one. This one has parentheses on both sides. So if you will notice, we've got this negative sign out front, which means I have to distribute that negative sign. So I end up with negative 5a plus a negative 6, or minus 6. Then on this side, I distribute the 2, which will give me 2 times 3a, which is 6a, plus 2 times 8, which is 16. So then, because this 5a is negative, I'm going to choose to get rid of that by adding 5a, and I'm going to add 5a on both sides. Now, one thing that might be helpful for some of you, especially with these ones with variables on both sides, is to split your equation. So that way you make sure that you're adding the variable terms on both sides instead of on the same side. When I do this, negative 5a plus 5a cancels, leaving me with negative 6. 6a plus 5a is 11a, and plus 16. So when I look at this, my plan of attack is what originally to build it was times 11 and then plus 16. So when I make my U-turn, I end up subtracting 16 and dividing by 11. So we'll subtract 16 from both sides. That cancels my 16s, leaving me with 11a. And negative 6 minus 16, remember adding the opposite. Negative 6 plus 16 is plus negative 16 is negative 22. We can then go ahead and divide on both sides by 11, as our plan states, and that'll cancel my 11s. giving me A on the right, and negative 22 divided by 11 is negative 2 on the left. And if we check that, we get 5 times negative 2, which is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. A negative of negative 4 is positive 4. And then on the right-hand side, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 8 is positive 2. 2 times 2 is 4, so this does check out. To finish up, here are your 2 you try it problems. A is solve 2D plus 11 equal to 4D minus 7. And B is solve negative 2 times the quantity 2F minus 4 equal to 4 times the quantity F minus 2. Please solve these for class tomorrow, and please, please, please remember, if you have questions on any of these concepts at all, write them down so you can ask. And lastly, don't forget to write your summary.